Hello, my 8th graders. I was trying to figure out a way to send out your answers to the chapter review that we were doing in class, and I figured I'd put it in my videos here. I'm going to jump back and forth between the text and make sure you guys have the answers. We'll go over chapter review tomorrow. You guys can correct your papers, take pictures of your papers, and submit it. I will have it as a assignment in Google Classroom. And once you've corrected them, send them to me. I'll take care of grading them. We'll do your vocab quiz Monday. We'll play games on Tuesday. We'll play a live game, probably like 9:30. I'll open it up and we can play live. And then Wednesday we'll do a online version of your test, and you can use your notes on that. So let's get started. So it says Latin roots. Several of the vocabulary terms in this chapter come from the Latin word solvere, which means to loosen. Describe how each of the following terms is related to the Latin word. The first one being solution. The definition of a solution is a homogeneous mixture in which two or more substances are combined, one being dissolved into the other. So to loosen is when the solvent's particles are dissolved into the other. The solute is what is being loosened or allowed to dissolve into the other. Number 8 is solvent. That is this part of the solution that is doing the dissolving, so it is the one that is loosening the particles from the other one. You have solubility, which was how much the solution can allow to dissolve, which means how much it can loosen the particles. Number 10, what makes a solution different from other types of mixtures? It is B, it is the same throughout. All the particles are going to be the same throughout. If you taste salt water is going to taste like salt water on the bottom of the glass as it will on the top of the glass. When a solute is dissolved in a solvent, the solvent's freezing point decreases and its boiling point increases. When we add salt to ice, it melts because we've lowered the freezing point. When we add salt to water, the higher properties will make it boil at a higher temperature. When a compound held together by ionic bonds, when a compound is held together by dissolves, the compound C releases ions into solution. Water is called the universal solvent because it dissolves many substances. That's why we use water for a lot of things. Our tea, a lot of things that we drink are all dissolved in water. How does an increase in the temperature affect the solubility of gases? If it's a gas, the solubility of all solids and gases. Most solids, if you increase the temperature, you have increased the solubility. If you increase the temperature for a gas, you will decrease the solubility. That's why your soda goes flat when it's warm out. A solution with a very high hydrogen ion concentration has a very B low pH. That's number 15, B for 15. 16, why are oils insoluble in water? They are insoluble because water is polar, and D, they are nonpolar. Short answer. Describe the reaction that occurs when a strong acid reacts with a strong base. You have the hydrogens that react with the hydroxides to give you water, and the positive ions and the negative ions react together and they form a salt. It's called neutralization. How might an alloy be changed for different uses? You change the alloy by switching up the metals that are in it depending on what you want. Alright, and if you go to the picture of the pH strips, which of the indicator strips show an acidic solution? It is D with a pH of 3, the red strip. Which ones show? So there's only D is acidic. Which show a basic solution? That one would be B, and A because they have a pH above 7. Which strip indicator paper detected the highest concentration? That is D, has the lowest pH. That's the answer. What would happen if you mixed together equal amounts of the solutions that produced B and D? B has a pH of 10, though they would neutralize, and you would get a salt and water. 22, suppose you mix together equal amounts of solutions that produce the results of strips C and D. So D and C, it would still be an acid, but it would be a lower acid. So if strip D is around 3, strip C is around 7, you're going to be between 3 and 7, which would probably give you a pH of 5. And a pH of 5 would give you that orangish red color on the bottle. Suppose that you place a beaker containing a solution in the refrigerator. An hour later, there is a white solid in the bottom of the beaker. What happened? Well, when you lower the temperature of the solution, you decrease the solubility, and some of the solute became a precipitate. Why do you think iron by itself would be a good material to use, would not be a good material to use in the frame of a bridge? Why or why not? Well, iron rusts really, really quickly. If you were driving over a bridge and it was completely covered in rust or had been rusting for a very long time, I don't know if your car would make it, especially not a big truck. So you have to mix it with other things to make it last longer. How might the concentration of a solute in an alloy be related to the properties of the alloy? Well, you mix different properties to get the final product that you want. Like brass is made up of copper and tin, and you have different top properties to do whatever the metal you want it to do, all the way down to like the type of gold you use for your jewelry. You're on to the graph. In that graph, it says what happens to the solubility of the substance as the temperature increases. As the temperature increases, the solubility goes up on that graph. All right, so if you decrease the temperature, you decrease the solubility of that. In that graph right there. Approximately how many grams of the substance can dissolve at 20 degrees Celsius? So you go to 20 degrees Celsius, you come up, looks to me like around 30. And at 60, you're around 60 grams. Is it a solid or a gas? It's a solid because the solubility increases. So now you're on to the lake water here. If you read through the paragraph, which lake is the most acidic? It was Lake C. Which lake is the least acidic? It is B, Lake B. It has the highest pH. Which lake has water the closest to neutral? It looks like that would be Lake A. Lakes that form on a bed of limestone are less likely to suffer from high acidity. The limestone reacts with the acids to neutralize them. Which of the following lakes is most likely to have a limestone bed? It's got to be Lake C. No, for number 4, it should be D, Lake G. It has the highest pH. Lake trout are fish that live in many freshwater lakes. When the pH of the water in a lake drops below 5.5, the species can no longer reproduce because the eggs cannot hatch. Which of the following statements is most likely true? It should be C. Lake trout will probably be able to reproduce in lakes A, B, and G, but not the ones that are too low. All right, we will have a quiz. I'm looking at Monday, test Wednesday, and I hope you all are doing well.